But today we'll be covering fixed Kanbans, sales event Kanbans, a little bit of capable to promise, withdrawal Kanban, and then Kanban calculations. But you'll see that it's substantially the same in terms of how the thing flows as what I actually advertised. So my apologies for that. Next slide, John. And another perspective item is that you can see here that we've, all the little blue rectangles talk mostly about different features inside of AX that are supporting lean manufacturing processes. We're not going to cover every blue rectangle today, so we're going to cover several of them. So we're going to show a small portion of what's possible, but when we get down to talking to you about where you've gone in lean thinking and what you need to see to demonstrate it, we'll get to a one-to-one specifically to what you need. But I just want you to know that what we're showing is a small part of a much, much larger picture out there. Hey, John? And for those, some people that are with us today are not using Dynamics AX yet. A lot of you are, but just so that you know, AX is an extremely robust ERP solution. So it covers just about everything that you can think of that's normally assumed to be covered inside of an ERP solution, from the financials, trade and logistics, production, even down to human resources and payroll. But it covers all your supply chain management. There are BI components to it that are very, very robust and healthy. So a lot to it. We're not going to be obviously talking about most of this today, but I do want you to know that there's a larger context that the lean manufacturing support falls into. Next slide, John. And one of the interesting things about AX is I started working with it back in 2002. So if you had looked at the Gartner study back in 2002, I'm not even sure we were on the chart at that point. Once Microsoft bought the product, though, and began to improve it and market it, it was in the very lower left-hand quadrant. But today, a number of years later, the ability to execute and completeness of vision has really placed us in the leadership quadrant. So the product is very competitive, very healthy, and we've got some fantastic customers using it in very, very creative ways. Next slide, John. And just to give you a couple of facts, over 14,000 implementations worldwide. That's probably over 15,000 at this point. But everything from a couple of people, a handful of users, to thousands and thousands of users. And Microsoft has really meant long-term stability to the product. It's not going to go away. It could be the last ERP product that your company ever buys. And its capacity has been, expanded to multilingual, multi-currency, multi-company, et cetera. So we really look at it as a very adaptable product, very agile, very responsive to our customers' needs. Next slide, John. And eBECS. Basically, we're experts in discrete manufacturing. We created the original lean functionality for AX, and Microsoft acquired that from us probably 5 years ago now. So that's part of a native capability, and John will speak to a little bit of the software that we've developed to address lean manufacturing processes that AX does not address yet. We'll talk a little bit about that at the very end. So we're still continuing to do that kind of development. We really are the lean thought leader in the AX community. We have subspecialties, and you'll see in a couple seconds, in automotive and medical, just because of the way those verticals think in terms of lean thinking. Next slide, John. Automotive, we've kind of got a concentration there. If you watch a Lotus Formula One car go by, chances are that car was basically built with the support of Dynamics AX. You don't see very many Aston Martins floating around, but when you do see one, AX is the manufacturing system to help build that. These are some of our other customers. Next slide, John. And so, like I mentioned before, we kind of have a concentration in medical devices and automotive, but general discrete, we're kind of all over the place with discrete manufacturing. Next slide, John. So lean manufacturing for Dynamics AX. let's start to get into the overview of the product and what we're going to cover in the demo. Next slide, John. And I'm going to pass this over to John Conwell right now. And John is one of our senior consultants. He's thoroughly grounded in lean thinking, and he's basically helped to bring probably the very first user of AECS 2012 that is deploying it inside of a lean manufacturing environment. So John, I will send it over to you, and it's all yours.
Thanks, Mike. Again, as Mike said, I'm John Conwell. I'm a senior consultant here at eBECS, and I have been working with the lean product for quite some time. We actually, a coworker and myself, wrote the training manuals for Lean 2012 for Microsoft, so we've had quite a bit of experience with the product. Kind of to get into the presentation, a big question is why I'm a company in a lean transformation. Why would I want to go to lean software? And one of the biggest things that I like to start with is that it's basically a tool in your toolbox that can help you streamline your processes. So kind of starting with one of the first things is it makes transparency throughout the organization. So you really are connected to the ERP system, and you don't have to see that. So it really works seamlessly. Kanban calculations are a really difficult thing that I see in a lot of companies. They have a hard time with their demand going all over the place and the variability of what the Kanban sizing should be. So connecting that to the demand is a really nice feature and a reason why we'd want to go to lean software. Kanban portals give us the ability to have integration with our vendors, so that our vendors can see basically what needs to be supplied to us. They can acknowledge through the portal, and then we can do some things to really streamline that process when the part comes in. Visibility of critical inventory. Obviously, having lean integrated with the ERP system does give us visibility into where we're at with our inventory and whether or not we have the parts on hand that we need to manufacture a component, and you'll see that here in a little bit. Pull directly from the source of demand. Obviously, that's an important thing within lean. Pull is very important with lean, and we'll show you how we can enter a sales order today and how that'll basically pull the parts that are needed to supply that sales order. KPIs, being able to have those real-time online from your system is obviously, we're seeing more and more of that, and it's really helping companies manage where they're at hour by hour during the day to be able to see those metrics online. Bullwhip management, really to be able to pull everything through the entire supply chain is really a great feature as well. And historical data to analyze and see where we're at, what our throughput rates are, and things like that. Since we're collecting the data in the system, we'll have the opportunity to look at that data. MRP integration. There are places in many lean companies that I work with that use regular traditional visual signals in places, and they may use MRP for more of a forecasting type situation, or they may use MRP for the purchased materials, and we support all of those different pieces together, and we'll kind of talk about that in more detail in a moment. Resource requirements, looking at visibility of drumbeat or throughput, what the capacity on a cell-by-cell basis is, and also takt time calculations are another piece that's really helpful. This is an example of a real-time board in one of our customers that allows them to basically see where they're at during the day, and they are one of our huge lean implementations. They've done a great job of being able to get the metrics up where the employees on the floor can see where they're at during the day and understand what they need to do to meet the goal for the day. Some of the different pains and challenges that companies are facing. In a lot of places, the lean schedules aren't integrated in with the ERP system, so the ERP system might be telling purchasing to do something that may not match what our lean schedule boards are showing on the plant floor. So we really want to try to integrate that, and we'll talk about that. Different planning instruments for different replenishment strategies. In a lot of cases, companies are mixed. Some are using lean in some places, using Kanbans. Some are using make to order in other areas, and we'll kind of pull that together and show you how that works today. The water spider not having visibility of the materials needed at the cell to pick or just to consume from point of use. The shop floor supervisor being able to see the boards, see the schedules, being able to do traceability within the system, even in a lean environment, that is a requirement with a lot of our customers to be able to do traceability. Machine operator, being able to have barcode support for the different forms that they use to be able to scan things, and using a lot of times you'll see complexity because you've got lanes telling you to do one thing with Kanbans, and we're using production orders for something else. So it's really confusing on a lot of shop floors. And I think what you'll see here in a minute is showing you how we can bring all that together to one interface that really streamlines the process on the shop floor and makes it easier for the workers to understand what they need to do, when they need to do it, and be able to get to the work instructions and things that they need to do their job.